Welcome to the Muffin Madrina moment. If you're out there, please make sure to hit like, make sure to make share, also make some comments. And you're probably wondering, where in the world is the Muffin Madrina tonight? So we decided to do something a little bit different. We are actually on my backyard. Hi, the Darius. Thanks for giving us a shout out to us beautiful ladies over there as well. If you see, we are in my backyard, so you might hear a couple of noises of background here and there of little birds, of a little wind chime. But I wanted to try something different that was not my dining area or my kitchen. And so, as you notice, it's not completely dark out here. We still have some daylight, and soon enough, it's gonna get a little darker. And so, if you're just joining us, this is the Muffin Madrina moment. I'm the AKA the Muffin Madrina, and this is actually an offshoot of what I do on Saturday mornings at 8:30 of the Muffin Madrina moment, where we try healthy muffins. And so, one of the things that I've been doing the last couple of weeks or so, kind of on and off, is having what is called the Muffin Madrina moment, where I get to invite a guest to share with me, either in person or they're connecting with me from somewhere else, and we get to talk about different topics. And so if you've joined us before, we've talked about relationships, we've talked about friendship, we've talked about counseling and some of the mental health, but today we're going to talk about health, our health journey. And so I have shared with you guys before that one of the reasons why Muffin Madrina also came into existence to do these healthy muffins, because in 2021 I've been trying to be a little bit more healthier, baby steps, and trying to eat different things, trying to walk more, doing trail walking or hiking. And so today I have a friend of mine. Her name is Wanda Rodriguez. Say hello.
Hi, everyone.
And I'm going to get to share with you guys not just about her health journey, but some of the things that we have done together as well. So if you're just joining us, please make sure to give us a shout out. Make sure that you are saying hello and that you are sending us little hearts and likes. Share with your friends. Let them know that we are live right now. And so before I start telling you about Wanda, like I mentioned, I'm trying to be 2021 healthy, okay? And so I've had dealt with different little medical health things here and there, and obviously weight is an issue that I need to address, and I've been trying to address, trying to do more walking, trying to eat the right things, baby steps. So Wanda actually started in her health journey. But before we even go into Wanda's health journey, let me tell you how we met. Okay? So Wanda and I met back in 2010. That was when, yes, because it's the same year I met Jessica as well. And so we met at the church. And I remember Wanda. There's certain things that we do have certain similarities to some of our other friends. We're mothers of boys. She has 3 beautiful, handsome boys. If you saw our post, you'll get to see pictures of her family, of her and her husband and her boys as well. And one thing that I remember about Wanda when I met her, she was very involved, very active in the church. She was in the worship team. She worked with the kids. She did some awesome stuff. I think you were even a mad scientist. Weren't you like a mad scientist once?
I was a mad scientist.
She did this really cool activity with the children's ministry where she would bring the message in such a relevant and awesome way. And she literally was dressed up like a mad scientist. And those are one of the things that I remember about her in regards to, her creativity that she has. And so I think it was maybe like a month or so ago that, or maybe more than that she had posted on Facebook about, hey, does anybody want to walk or something like that, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, okay, I know that she doesn't live that far away. Frank had been walking with me, but it was kind of on and off on the weekends, and I needed someone to walk with me during the week. And so that's how we got to reconnect, because we hadn't seen each other. Like, we would see each other like here and there and on Facebook, but we hadn't seen each other for like a long time. And so that's how we were able to reconnect and kind of like become like walking buddies, if you want to call it that way. And then later on, I'll tell you what other attributes she has that helps me in my health journey. So Wanda, tell me, let's go back. Talk to me about how you started dealing with your health, like early on, in regards to even before you had your children.
Okay, well, I was always an obese person. Even as a child, I was always heavy, and dealt with that forever, childhood, teenage years, and because of that, I also dealt with a lot of bullying. I went through that stage of my life. It was difficult. It's something that I still am overcoming, dealing with, because it's not an easy thing when you have dealt with rejection and people making fun of you and putting everything that you are so out there and just seeing me as an imperfect person all around. Then I met my husband.
Okay.
We got married. Let's just say that in that honeymoon phase, I got pregnant. It was. And I had a miscarriage.
Okay.
That was my first pregnancy. I had a miscarriage. I didn't deal with it initially. And so, as time progresses and I can remember that stage of my life, I can get teary-eyed about it because I didn't actually go through the whole motion of the loss.
Oh, I see.
And so then after that, we waited about a year and a half, and then we got pregnant again with my son, who was about to be 26 in August.
Wow.
That was, obviously, it was a high-risk pregnancy, and not necessarily because of his diagnosis, because he was diagnosed after birth, but it was just initially a difficult pregnancy.
Yeah.
Of it, we were just 25 years old. We were young, super young. And Omar was born at full gestation, normal birth, everything, I was like the strong mama to be. No pills, no
epidural.
Let's just do it.
All natural birth.
All natural birth. And so after he was born, then is when we started realizing there was something wrong with him.
Oh, okay.
So he ended up in ICU, and that's when we learned that he was Down syndrome.
Okay.
So then that's when I started taking care of him and forgot about me.
I see.
It's not easy having a child with a special need.
Yeah.
It's not an easy task. But in the meantime, I got pregnant quick after that. So Omar and my second son, Nathan, are only 13 months apart.
Oh, okay.
So then it was definitely, I didn't even come into that list of things to do or take care of. It was just taking care of the boys and taking care of the home and taking care of my husband. And I just stayed doing what I thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah. That's important, something that you mentioned, because that's sometimes what happens, us moms, us women, sometimes want to take care of everybody else, because it's part of our nature. I think it's something that is part of our DNA, that is built in, that we've been created that way, but that we don't know how to like pause at times and do our self-care. And it's kind of great because we're actually happy to be part of a self-care reconnect group of 20 women. So shout out to you ladies out there if you're watching us right now. And which actually started off as a vision from Adaris, one of our friends.
Right.
And so, the importance of taking care of ourselves. And, it's kind of interesting because it makes me sometimes think about what the story about Martha and Maria in the Bible, and when Jesus had come by the home, and just a little bit about different where Maria, she was listening to Jesus all the time, and she was sitting at his feet, and Martha was always like trying to okay, who needs food, and who needs this, and there was a point in time, even though yes, I may not be theologically, eschatology, or hermeneutics explaining this the right way, but in relation to us women, that scenario you can relate, because Jesus actually told her, say, hey Martha, come on, let it go, come over here, come sit over here. And sometimes we have to do that as women. We need to stop and actually not only take time for ourselves, but just take time to meditate, be in the moment, be in spend time in prayer, or just take a breather. And things like that. And it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that after you had the babies and then the kids came along. So how did that now deal with your health? Because you didn't take care of yourself. So what's happening with you by not taking care of yourself?
Well, so when after we had our son Nathan, I had told my husband, okay, we're not having any more children. I think two is enough. And so I started taking birth control, and because I wanted to lose weight also, I was on diet pills and birth control and just trying to move and all of that. And suddenly we got a surprise gift with our third son, Caleb.
Okay.
And Caleb came along when I was 33 or going on 33. So when I was pregnant with Caleb, I developed gestational diabetes.
Oh, okay.
So that happened, and the doctors were just like, since I was already labeled high risk because of my first child, the doctors were like, oh, it'll be fine. We just, control this. And because the gestational diabetes has a lot to do with how your hormones are working at the time, I was unable to control it. Oh, okay. So I had to have insulin shots while I was pregnant with Caleb.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So that happened. I gave birth to Caleb, and the gestational diabetes was gone.
Okay.
Like
so
immediately.
Poof, went away.
Yeah, once he's out, then they check your blood, and then they're like, oh, you're good. All right, So then what happened after that was I probably was like 37 years old, and I stopped having cycles. And of course, I'm like, yay! I'm not gonna miss
yes.
this. But it wasn't normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a normal thing.
So let me give you a minute to give a shout out to the people that have joined us. I see Debbie has joined us. Mildred, nice to see you, Mildred. I think that's your mom, right?
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, give a shout out to your mom. So if you're just joining us, this is the Muffin Madrina Moment Live. We are currently talking about health journey. We're talking about Wanda's health journey and how we've connected. And so right now she is in the part about where she talked about her gestational diabetes completely removed after she gave pregnant to her third son. So then now what happens next to your body? What's happening with your health?
So what's happened at that point is obviously I don't have a cycle. I started feeling sluggish and tired all the time. And the initial thought is, wow, is this premenopausal, but so young?
Yeah.
So I obviously went to the gynecologist I had at that time, and it was just brushed off. I was just told that I had a slightly elevated testosterone level.
Okay.
And to be able to control that, I just needed to start exercising. So I was like, okay. So I did that, and I did that for a long time and nothing changed. My cycle didn't come back. I wasn't feeling any better.
Yep.
I wasn't losing any weight either.
Yep.
And so obviously, once again, I forgot about me and was taking care of everyone else's needs. I was super involved in church. Not that that's a bad thing, but super involved in church, taking care of everyone else's needs and wants, and putting me in the back burner. So when in 2019, September of 2019, I had stopped working because I was also working back in May of 2019. I quit my job. I was like, it was just too hard for me, and try to deal with being at home for my son Omar and my son Caleb, and all of that. I was like, okay, I really need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I went to see my gynecologist, and she did the blood work. She called me as soon as I got home.
Yeah.
She called me and she said, "You have type 2 diabetes."
Oh, wow.
And that was a shocker.
Yeah.
I was with my mom at the time, and I had the doctor on speakerphone, and I was just like freaking out. I didn't want to cry, but I wanted to, like, you know, it was just a hard thing to hear.
Yep.
Type 2 diabetes. So, you know, my doctor, she's the greatest. She was like, immediately told me who to go to and, you know, get started on medication and all of that. So in September of 2019, from that day that she told me you are type 2 diabetic, I went cold turkey on sugars and carbs.
What? Okay. Like, that takes, like, oh my gosh. Because, so let me tell you guys a little bit about my health journey as I'm listening to Wanda and her story. So, as you guys know, I try to do healthy muffins and cut a lot of sugar and everything. And so my story is that I fluctuate on what is called the pre-border, pre-diabetic. So I haven't crossed over completely, which I don't want to. And so, I'll go a couple times and my numbers are good, and then I'll go another time, they're like, oh, you're like in the border, but not, And so, so that's why I've tried to cut down on sugar and try to walk. But to go cold turkey, I mean, that takes a lot of, because, I mean, everything has sugar.
Yes.
Almost everything has sugar, everything that you eat. So, how, I mean, so were you at a certain weight? I mean, have you always fluctuated in your weight, or no, or?
I have never been slim. Maybe I was 150 pounds when I was a teenager. And my weight just like kind of stayed there.
Yeah.
I remember probably weighing 220 pounds at one point.
Yes.
And being like a size 20.
Yep. They're mentioning if you could lower the music a little bit down, our DJ.
And
the background music, you could lower it a little bit down.
So I guess like when I started working, when I went back to work and I was able to work, I lost a little bit of weight, but not enough. Of course, I didn't know that I had type 2 diabetes. And so when I learned that I was type 2 diabetes, I was 215 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so
I'm not sharing my weight.
It's okay. I mean, I through this journey, I have had to own everything about me. I have to own it. I don't have anyone to blame. I mean, I could probably blame it on someone, but I choose to be like, I did this to myself.
Yeah.
I have to fix it.
Yeah.
And I went cold turkey on sugars and carbs.
Okay, but so how did that work? Or did you have like a withdrawal of sugar? Like, I mean, what did you do?
Yeah, you go through a withdrawal because you love sweets, and you love bread.
Because I remember you doing cupcakes and like doing all these little sweet things when we had actividades in la iglesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you, so I remember you did like cooking when we did the camps. Remember those camps that we would prep? Okay, people. Disclaimer: I helped in the kitchen. I just assisted in the kitchens. I was not the cook. It was either her, Wanda, or Adaris, or who else? I can't remember. But I was just the assistant. I would just make sure that the kids got their food and the youth and all that.
Supervised very well.
Oh, I was a good supervisor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yikes, man. Does
Yeah.
it sound good out there? Can you guys give me a thumbs up? Is everything looking good out there? So if you just joining us, this is the Muffin Madrina Moment Live. We're discussing about health journey. I see a comment about the background music. I just need another shout out. Somebody with a thumbs up or a smiley face or a heart to tell me that everything's sounding good. So go on.
So the withdrawal is real. It's, I mean, you're addicted to sugar. You just don't know that you're addicted to sugar until you decide to not have it anymore. And you go through the withdrawals. You go through the headaches. You go through the frustration. Man, I want that cupcake or I want that chocolate.
You
love
like chocolate?
Yeah,
Like everything chocolate?
anything chocolate. I love chocolate.
You know,
Dark chocolate, milk
Really?
chocolate. Yeah,
Chocolate ice cream?
chocolate ice cream, chocolate
Oh,
cake,
no,
chocolate
no,
chip
no.
cookies.
Oh.
I love chocolate. So
I only like certain chocolate things. I always had a thing with the chocolate ice cream. Like I do chocolate bars, and thank you for letting us know that everything sounds good in the background there. But yeah, I don't know if it was like a weird thing growing up as a kid that I had issues with chocolate, and as an adult, really that's not the sugar that I have a weakness with. But
So yeah, I mean, I had to go through the withdrawal, but I have a strong motivation behind having, wanting to go cold turkey. I want to be around for a long time. You know, I have a son with Down syndrome. He needs me.
yeah, how old are you now?
I'll be 51 next month.
Oh wow,
Yes. I know.
look good. Yes, yes.
So I need to be around for him.
Yeah.
I need to be around for him, and as my kids get older, I kind of want to be an active grandma at some point. Not rushing anybody out there to give me grandkids.
Hold it off. We can wait for the grandkids.
But I want to be an active grandparent.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be able to, do fun things with the grandkids, and I want to be around for a long time.
Yeah. So okay. So you went cold turkey, and then what else did you do? Because I know you've done several different things to help you in this process. Because you were weighing 215, and right now to this day you weigh what?
265.
Okay.
No, I'm
No.
sorry, 165.
I'm like, you didn't gain. You've
No, I
lost.
I'm at 165.
So yeah. So you have lost 15 plus. You've lost a total of
Close to
50 pounds. 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I need those 50 pounds off too. So tell us exactly. Tell us exactly what was the next thing. So you went cold turkey on the sugar, and then what did you do next?
So I went to meet with my new internal medicine doctor.
Okay.
And she immediately wanted to put me on medication, and I asked her to hold off because I'm not big on medication.
Yeah.
And I asked her to please give me a little bit of time before she decides to, throw that prescription at me. So for the first 3 months, before I had to go see her again, I started eating more vegetables. I started, drinking my smoothies for breakfast or lunch, more salads, and I was working out just about every day.
Oh. So now, just for a disclaimer out there, Wanda happens to be Puerto Rican, but her husband is Mexican. So imagine. Oh, and she's from Caguas, Puerto Rico. Woo woo, which was where I was born. So
we're both Cagüeñas.
yes. So you probably lived there longer than I did, but if my family's watching out there, how do I say it again?
Cagüeña.
Yeah, diantre. Cagüeñas. Nobody laugh, please. I have my issues. Okay. But I can imagine the foods that you would have to cook. You would cook.
Yeah.
Because you had like a mixture of Puerto Rican food, Mexican tortillas all the time, all these other things. So that is like so interesting.
Yes. So, um, yeah, I have to. Not that my husband wouldn't eat anything else, but yeah, there were the days that were like, can we have tacos? Can we have some enchiladas? That, that is a little bit difficult. But I was like eating the corn tortillas. I was like, okay, which are better for me at the time?
Than the flour,
the corn tortillas. But, it has been a little bit challenging in that area, to be able to cook meals for him, for the kids, and cook my meals.
Wow.
But
I can imagine.
yeah, so when I went back to the doctor 3 months later, I was able to on my own bring my A1C numbers down.
Oh, awesome.
So, she was like, we're still going to give you the medication. And I was like not really happy with it, but she was like, you need it for a time until we can see, how things are working, whether you're gonna need to add insulin or whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm not having any of that.
Yeah.
So I kept going at it, taking the metformin and working out and going into the internet and learning about low glycemic foods, which is an important thing because when you start eating vegetables, you think all the vegetables are
perfect.
okay.
We can eat everything that's green,
or all the fruits are great, and it's not so. There's certain foods, certain fruits that you can't have, and there are certain vegetables you can't have.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to moderate these things into my eating habits, Oh, I can no longer eat a banana or put a banana in my smoothie because the sugars are just overwhelming. And root vegetables, not every root vegetable.
So you can have sancocho?
You cannot have sancocho.
Oh, Lord mercy.
Yes. So
no sancocho. Okay.
So, I had to learn that, how to eat, what carbs are good carbs, what carbs aren't good carbs. So it's been a journey. I don't call it a diet because it's just, I can't.
Yeah.
I using that word kind of makes me like I'm limited and I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like I'm going without because I'm on a diet.
Yeah.
I decided to call it a journey. This
Awesome.
is a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. So, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned all those things because, if you're just joining us, this is a Muffin Madrina moment. And please make sure to comment. Let me know, those of you that are listening, if you had similar issues or things that you thought about your health that you have tried to take care of. Or that you get some news from the doctor that you really don't want to hear, and then you got to figure out how to deal with that. So I can imagine, physically, obviously you mentioned about feeling sluggish at points and just dealing with the withdrawals and everything. But what about your emotions? What about how were you feeling like inside, mentally, and everything? Like what was all that about?
When I was diagnosed.
Diagnosed or as you were going through the process. I know you mentioned earlier, you said, I had to take responsibility. You kind of cried a little bit. You were upset, that you got that. But as you were going through this process of finding out information, trying to be disciplined, like, how were you feeling?
Well, prior to this diagnosis, I was going through some really difficult times, like emotionally and mentally. My mental health was not so great, but not that drastic that I needed help in that area of my life. It was just pretty much how I was feeling about myself. I've always had issues with self-esteem and things like that because of the way that I saw myself in the mirror and how I thought people saw me, and of course in what other people thought of me.
Exactly.
And so I had those kind of struggles, but when I was diagnosed, and I decided I had to like cut it out like immediately. Own it, own this situation, not the diagnosis. I've never owned the diagnosis.
Oh, that's
It's
interesting.
not. I don't call it my type 2 diabetes. It's not mine, because God did not create me with type 2 diabetes. The illness, the condition, the disease is not mine. It's something that I was diagnosed with, and I knew that I could fix it. So I did everything that I had to do, what I thought was what I could do with the limitations that I had, and and the things that I've had to learn through the process. But in the process, in this journey, I have become happier. I have become a little bit more assertive.
Oh, okay.
It takes me a little bit, but I'm getting to a better place like that. And I just want you to know, like, this is totally out of my comfort zone, and I am so pushing through this. And I do not know how I'm doing all this talking.
You're doing awesome.
But it's just like,
leave it to Gloria V to put people on the spot.
Yes. And so I'm working through this right now when my mom's probably over there praying for me.
Thank you, mommy.
But I feel more confident. And I've just am learning to live with the way things are around me, with dealing with just everything, rejection of an absent father and stuff like that. I've come to a point where I'm like, it's okay. I'll be okay. It's gonna be okay. If there's anyone missing out, is that person.
Exactly.
Not me. So I have become happier.
If you're just joining us to the Muffin Madrina moment, thank you for joining us this evening. Your mom gives you a shout out that you're doing great and that she loves you.
Thanks,
and
Mom.
she's proud of you. But yes, it's kind of interesting that you said that because, I know you have mentioned that, you're working through this whole process as me putting you on the spot to kind of talk about your journey. But, even as confident women that we are, because I feel that women tend to exhibit confidence in certain areas. I've considered myself to be pretty strong. I'm a cruise. My father taught me to be strong. and so, but yeah, we, somebody may be out there that say, I'm confident, I'm showing all these exterior things, but inside we may be dealing with certain things.
Right.
Or, and I'll be honest, I'll be vulnerable with my crowd and the fans out there and stuff like that, and with everybody, that's here. Even though I'm a strong, confident person, when I go shopping and I see something and I want to try something and it doesn't look right and all this other stuff, that's when it starts kicking in, like, and
Right.
so what is it that I need to be doing or what I should be doing? And, that's kind of like my whole thing about baby steps. There's some weeks that we do good, and then there's other weeks that we se va todo ajuste.
Right.
And so, the point is that every a new day is a new mercy, every morning, and so it's an opportunity to begin again. And so, if you're out there watching this, and if you're dealing with a health journey as well, or if you're dealing with issues with your body, issues with your health, be proud of who you are. But also understand that you too can do what Wanda had because of her health, because she wants to be here long enough to see her grandkids, to be there for her son who's special needs. That there's times that, yes, we need to take control of the situation and start it early. And we advise young women she's 51. How old am I? I'm 46. I'm gonna be 47. I'm gonna be 47 in September. So, it's never too late. But if you are younger than us, we advise you to have fun, enjoy yourself, walk a little more, take a 30-minute walk a day, play with your friends outside, grab a ball, play volleyball, go swimming, do something, go hiking. Oh, and one thing that is kind of cool, because when she put that post about walking, she's my walking buddy, right? And so as we started walking, we got to talking, and Wanda actually has a lot of things up her sleeves. And one of them happens to be that she has a small little business, and she's always done Wanda's party planning and catering. But even though she does that outside, she also prepped meals that are healthy as well. And so I don't know if you guys remember me posting up videos and showing things that I said, oh, I have a meal prep dealer. That's her. and so, um, and so, tell us how you decided to do all that, and how do you overcome preparing food for people who actually want sugar, and you can't have the sugar.
Right. Well, um, the party planning and catering part of the party planning and catering kind of came to a halt when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So,
but how did you deal before that, though? Like, because you're planning stuff and you're dealing with your health as well.
Right. I mean, I was, before that, I was like tasting here and there, but not like overdoing it.
Yeah.
Not things like that. And I hadn't had a job in months. Then how it all came about, it was my sister had a baby, and she works all kinds of crazy hours, and she wasn't even having the time to cook her own meals. And one day she said to me, "How do you feel about cooking my meals?" And she also struggles, with weight issues and things like that. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
And so, I started looking for recipes and doing all kinds of things. And she was loving her meals, and she was on a calorie deficit.
Oh.
Which she started losing some weight because her meals were already measured and prepped, and
oh, wow.
she didn't have to deal with any of that. So I was like, man, it's a little bit hard, but it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna see how it goes. Let me extend it out there. Let me put it on Facebook and see how it goes. Then you showed interest.
Yes.
And then you posted. And then from your post, 2 other people showed interest. So now I'm starting this clientele. Now I have some people that like my food.
Awesome.
And so that's how it all started.
Yeah. So, as you all know, I'm not much of a kitchen person, even though I do some baking and I'm trying out. But this actually helps me, because when she preps these meals, and either she delivers to me or I pick them up, or midway and everything, it allows me during the week that if I'm running from work or doing anything, like, I know I could bring a healthy lunch with me, or I didn't get to prep it. And I totally get it. That I know that I should probably be waking up early, or I should take my Sundays to prep all my meals for the rest of the week, and do X, Y, and Z. But I also like to support individuals in their entrepreneurship. And so, but it helps. It helps me when I'm caught in what is it? In a little short, like I'm caught in between that. It's been a schedule that I just can't get out of it. I can pop in her keto biscuit pot pie that is good. And I don't have to worry, because it's enough portion, it's enough certain things, and I know that at least I'm bringing, doing a healthy thing for myself. Okay, so it says here somebody loves your food. That was your mom. So your mom loves it. Yes, it's good. And they're asking if you could deliver it to Massachusetts. And that's my madrina, a madrina Sandra. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, if Misfit Markets can send us organic fruits and vegetables, and
Well, you never know. Yeah, maybe we can come up with something.
We could try to come up with something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll get back to you guys. We will figure out how to deliver these things. Okay. And so just as a wrap up, because we have like 5 minutes before we wrap up. Tell me, talk to the audience. What will you encourage them as what you've dealt with? You know, I didn't get to ask you this, but did you feel that some of your eating had to do with emotional eating, or not, or you're tending to the kids and you keep sticking stuff in your mouth and you don't pay attention? Like, how do you think? Because obviously I know where my weight gain has come from. So, sometimes I ask those questions like, how do you?
I mean, not from my cooking.
Frank is saying not from his cooking. Oh boy. Well, but what about you? What do you feel that has been? What was that issue until you got disciplined? What that created that for you?
Definitely an emotional eater.
Okay.
And because I was not sleeping well, I was also eating to stay awake.
Oh wow.
Because you have that thought of eating gives you energy, and
Yeah.
it's not. You really need to have a sleeping pattern.
Yeah.
You need to make the time, even if your husband.
Sorry guys, there's a helicopter running over us. Like I said, we're in my backyard, and so we did not know that a helicopter was gonna go over the house.
Even if your husband snores and you can't sleep well at night, try to make time to take a nap during the day, because these are things that I caught on. When I started this journey, it's like, oh man, I'm eating even when I'm tired, or I'm eating when I'm stressed, and yes, you need to start paying attention to your body, and your mind, because it just becomes a tendency. When you're stressed out, you're wanting to reach for that candy bar or that donut, instead of going for that piece of fruit or that celery or carrot stick. And listen to your body. And if you're a parent of a special needs child, we, moms in general have a tendency to throw everything, just throw themselves into that situation, for whatever reason. It may be guilt, because you feel sad for the situation that you lived in, or you feel sorry for your kid, whatever it may be. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have to go through all the motions. But you also need to learn that you have to take care of yourself. And I learned that too late, in the process. I mean, my kid is going to be 26 years old. I learned that late. But I also learned that if I'm not healthy, if I'm not doing fine mentally or physically, then I'm not going to be able to be there for him or my husband or my other kids. Learn to listen to your body when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling depressed, when something is not working right, with your body. Because you don't know. I was diagnosed PCOS at age 50, after having kids. It was just weird. But learn to listen to your body and go see your doctor. See your doctor. And if you're not big on medication, there is always an alternative out there for you.
Well, that's good to know. That's good advice to give to people. And like I mentioned earlier, the purpose of the Muffin Madrina moment is to have those kind of different discussions that really are near to my heart, because one, either I have either dealt with it, or two, I know of friends or family who may be going through a scenario. And I think it's important for us to be able to connect and have these conversations. It doesn't happen a lot. And, especially among us Latina women, sometimes it's like, no, 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 everything looks good in the outside, but we're not going to say anything to the general public.
Right.
And so, and I think it's important for us to support each other as well. And, she has lost 50 pounds, which I want to lose 50 pounds. And, but her journey doesn't end. Her journey continues, right?
That's
Because
right.
you have a couple more, right, that you need to be at least, ideally, right?
Ideally.
Yes. And so, but you have to maintain and continue, because what happened is the your person wants to like go back to the bad habits,
Right.
and we need to stay right on focus on the good habits
Right.
and things like that. And so, one of the things that I also know, I mean, she hasn't said anything about this, but if you know how I said a while back ago that she was part of a worship team and she led worship. So there's actually a CD and some music that she sang, and it's somewhere hidden. And so, if you guys want to check out her page, hopefully she will post it up, and you guys can listen to it as well. And so, I'm telling you, all these women that I know, or at least all the guests that I've had, they all have different talents. They all have these skills and abilities, God given, that they have used and have blessed people in different ways. Even if they don't even know it or felt it, they have blessed many. So I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you, Wanda, for being my guest tonight and
Thank you.
taking on my challenge of we're gonna do this, girl. And I want to thank all of you that joined us on Facebook. If you know of anyone that needs to hear about this story, please make sure you share it. Please make sure to hit like. And this Saturday, 8:30 a.m., we're doing what? Pumpkin cream cheese muffins. And don't worry, I'm gonna cut some of that sugar out. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Wanda,
Thank
again. It was
you.
nice having you tonight. Enjoy.